G'day guys, Smith City here for Smith City Product Reviews. I tried to do this last night, but we ran into about 3 or 4 different scenarios that made it a really long video, and it didn't look really good, so I'm doing it again. I'm here with a new pipe tobacco and a new pipe. This is Cornell Diehl, the Haunted Bookshop. So there's the tin. I'll open it up. I've already opened it yesterday, as you can see. And I'll get it packed, talk about the pipe for a little bit, and then I might read a horror story from a book. So that's what it looks like. As you can see, it's not wet, it's not like super dry. It's got perique in it, which is a blending tobacco, which bring out some deep, dark, fruity notes to it. I smoked it yesterday, and I'll talk about the issue I had yesterday with the pipe, so I'll just bring that up to you guys. Fars on camera. So, this is the Dwarf Cobbit Corncob Pipe, so it's a corn cob. And the issue we had last night was when Far realised that this wasn't drilled at all, and I was really struggling to keep it alight, and so we had to use a Dremel and a chopstick to push out the wood, and so that goes in here. Oh, before I pull it in, sorry, this will burn away eventually. That might give you a little bit more of a burnt woody note, which that has anyway. So I didn't really experience any of that because that's what it tastes like. And then that'll burn away, and then it obviously won't look like that in the bowl. And then this is just a long stem which goes into here. And what I found with this, because I smoked one this morning as well, is that the bowl seems to be maybe like a quarter smaller than all my other pipes, which is probably good for this type of tobacco because apparently it's got higher levels of nicotine. And people that have reviewed it, like the Hobbiton and a few other people on YouTube, said that they do struggle to smoke back-to-back bowls because of the high nicotine. So, and then the third issue I had was the lighter didn't work. So I've got a new lighter there, which it's not a torch lighter, but it gives off a good flame to get the pipe lighted. So what you want to do is drop half of it on the floor. My partner Far did all the decorating behind us, did a really good job for the type of video we're trying to make. So you want to tamp that first little bit in softly, and then you want to get some more. I'm going to do it over the bowl this time, over the tin. I reckon maybe a little bit more. So all my other ones, normally it's 3 pinches, whereas this one's 2 and a bit. So I'll get it lit first, false light, then the light. I'll get it going, and then I will read a horror story for you. But the blend taste notes and everything like that is exactly old haunted bookshop. So there's that. I'm going to get this back on the tin so if wind picks up it doesn't fly off into the horizon. And I'll quickly try to get the tin on. I'll just put that behind us. And I'll light it up. So as you can see with the tobacco, how it's risen up out of the bowl, so that's called a false light. Then you want to tamp it down. And give it a little bit more of a toast. And the book I'll be reading from is the Wordsworth Book of Horror Stories. And I don't know, I'll just open it up to a page. And we'll read a couple of pages from the Ring of Thoth. Is that how it's pronounced? Thoth. Far's just nodding there on the camera.
Egyptian god.
It's an Egyptian god. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, 1859 to 1930. It's just going out again. Mr. John Van Start Smith, FRS of 147A Gower Street, was a man whose energy of purpose and clearness of thought might have placed him in the very first rank of scientific observers. He was a victim, however, of the universal ambition which prompted him to aim at a distinction in many subjects rather than pre-eminence in one. In his early days, he had shown an aptitude for zoology and for botany, which caused his friends to look upon him as a second Darwin. But when a professorship was almost within his reach, he had suddenly discontinued his studies and turned his whole attention to chemistry. Here he researches upon the spectra of the metals had won him his fellowship in the Royal Society, but again he played the crochet with his subject, and after a year absence from the laboratory he joined the Oriental Society and delivered a paper on the hieroglyphic and demotic inscription of El-Kab, thus giving a crowning example of both of the versatility and the inconsistency of his talents. So, I'll talk about the tobacco a little bit, now that I can actually taste it after we MacGyvered the pipe. So on the tin notes, if you smell it from the tin, it's got like a sweet dried fruit, like a raisin smell to it, and like a chocolatey nuttiness about it. But you do get them on the smoke. Which I love, but they're more in the background of the taste. So predominantly for me, the back end of the tasting notes is sort of like a inside of a fireplace would be the best way to describe it. And not like the taste of soot or anything like that, but like if you go and light a fireplace and the smell of the burning wood, that's the sort of tasting notes you're getting. Which for me is quite pleasant. It is definitely in my wheelhouse of flavour notes. I'm someone that drinks Merlots and stouts and dark drinks, and this would pair really well with the Merlot. So I've definitely got it going now, as you can see the smoke billowing. out of the bowl. Looking up at the sprinkler red thing that if that shatters, the sprinklers go off in the apartment. So, where would I rate this with the other ones I've smoked? Obviously, I've just started smoking pipes this year, and so it's very hard to gauge because I've had the early morning pipe, which was a darker blend, even though I thought it was going to be a lighter blend, and then I had the Sherlock Holmes, Peterson Sherlock Holmes, that was more citrusy and lighter than the early morning pipe, and then I had the maple autumn evening. And the autumn evening was something that I could have 2 or 3 back to back in different pipes, or even in the same pipe after I've cleaned it out, and it'd fill the area that you were smoking with a nice aroma, and you couldn't really get sick of it. Whereas for me, I would agree with other YouTubers where you might have one in the morning and have one at night, but it's definitely not one that I think you can smoke back to back. Like, so after the poor smoke that I had out on the other balcony, and then we fixed it and I smoked it again, by the time I came inside, I started to get those nicotine spins. So just word of caution, if you are having this haunted bookshop and you are sensitive to nicotine, to maybe have it after you've had food, and maybe have it with a drink. And I might read off the back of this tin. Another of the late Bob Ranowski's blends, named in honour of the famous novel written by Christopher Morley. Haunted Bookshop is a Burley and Virginia blend with just a touch of Perique. It says sale only allowed in the United States. Obviously, being in Australia, they are quite cheap to buy until you get the tax on top of it. So this pipe was about $35, and the tin itself was, I think, $170. Whereas I think in America you can pick up tins of tobacco for like $14 US, $20 US, which would be double or around double. So obviously we're paying a lot more to smoke this sort of stuff in Australia, but I'm definitely not getting bored of the smoke. It is full on. I would recommend that if you are someone that's new, to not try this blend and build yourself up to it, or if you do get it just because you like the sound of it, maybe pack a quarter of a bowl or half a bowl just to see how you go with it. And what I was finding last night, because I smoke cigarettes as well, is I haven't had a pipe in a while with tin tobacco, and I found myself inhaling it too much last night on the other balcony, and I was coughing and spluttering more than what I am now. It burns well throughout, like that's not hot to touch, which sometimes you get, which then if you do get that, holding it by that, or even holding it by the stem or the mouthpiece. If you've got any questions about pipes or tobacco, even though I'm a novice, I'd like to hear you guys in the comment section of what your favourite blends are, what do you smoke out of, when you first started, how you started, you know, was it something that your grandfather did, what your dad did, and maybe you got a pipe passed down from generations. and I might just leave it there until next time. See ya.